guys, it's AJPO3, and in this video, since it's almost New Year's, I'm going to share with you, my top 20 movies of 2018, best movies of 2018. There's not going to be a video about the worst movies of 2018, because that's just negativity, but that doesn't matter right now. Let's get started.
Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald is one of the worst, well, considered one of the worst Harry Potter movies of all time. But however, the audience like it in a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, with the critics having it at 38% on Rotten Tomatoes. But I, however, seem to pretty much like Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, even though there are some things I really didn't like about it. I think it's a great movie regardless. Bad Times at the El Royale is a murder mystery movie, and it was released a week before Halloween, and it was a little well received by audiences and critics. It's an okay movie. The problem with it is that they keep having a lot of flashbacks without letting us know, and they don't focus on one character. They just focus on a lot of people, like it's all over the place, and there are some things that are unexplained and some theories. But I think it's very, but sorry, I mean, but it's a very good movie. It's very interesting, which caught some of our eyes to this movie, and it's very interesting and very good. Solo: A Star Wars Story was the first Star Wars movie to ever bomb at the box office. Mostly it was because of The Last Jedi Backlash and Avengers Infinity War and Deadpool 2. But even though most of the fans ignored Solo, some of the fans actually went to check it out and give it a chance. And I went to go see it because I just felt like it, but it was a very good movie. Better than The Last Jedi. It's better than The Last Jedi, and it definitely deserves better for what it got. And I think we should, and I think it's pretty much a great movie regardless. Bohemian Rhapsody is a biography film about the band Queen, and it turned out to be a very good movie, even though I did have some problems with it, and there were some differences between the movie and real life. A lot of people pretty much liked this movie, so if you haven't seen it, then I think you should have gone. I think you should go check it out, or get it on digital DVD or DVD when it comes. Aquaman was one of the last few movies, along with Mary Poppins Returns and Bumblebee, to come in 2018, and a lot of people went to see Aquaman, and most of the people came out there saying they liked it, and I liked it. I liked Aquaman. Sure, the only problem was it was a little too goofy. Aquaman is a little goofy, but not too goofy. Not too, you know what I mean. But out of that, there's a lot of good special effects and good uh, actors and good characters and good action scenes, and it's a great film. First Man was also a biography film released in 2018, and it was good as well. It was good as well. Received good, very well received by audiences and critics alike. But however, it bombed at the box office, most likely because Venom was in a week before it, and but it still is a good movie. But the only problems with it is that at parts it's a little boring, and once again they made some changes and all that other stuff. But it's a great movie, great way of telling how what Neil Armstrong did, and a great way to tell it. Mary Poppins Returns is the long-awaited sequel to Mary Poppins, which came 54 years ago in 1964, and it was supposed to come on Christmas Day, but due to Aquaman and Bumblebee coming a couple of days before it, it got pushed forward to December 19th. So it came a little early before Bumblebee and Aquaman, but a little most of the people are saying it's good, but it was not good as the sequel, which I would say it's good. It's good. It's not the best, but it's very great to see Mary Poppins back, and and um and um and especially for people who saw it back in 1954, they were all like saying like my childhood is like back, and like they were most of the older people who went to see us were like crying that she's back, and most of them were very happy, which I'm very happy to see people happy. But it's a very good movie. Not the best. It's not a good sequel, but it's a good sequel. Just not not as good as the first one, but it's good to see Mary Poppins back. Venom was the first movie to get released in October, and it was a very well. I mean, it did well at the box office, and once again, the critics hated it, but the audiences liked it, and I thought it was awesome. I thought Venom was awesome. Although there were not as a lot of jokes in Venom, and they just made some random jokes. I mean, the jokes are funny. It's still very good, very action packed, very great characters, and a good movie overall. Ant-Man and the Wasp is the sequel to 2015's Ant-Man. It was released uh, in the first week of July in 2018, and even though audiences and critics liked it, it bombed at the box office due to Jurassic World coming a week before it, along with Incredibles 2 coming a couple weeks before Ant-Man and the Wasp. but I but I think it's a good movie. Except for some things I would change in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Some of the stuff didn't make sense, but it's a great movie overall and deserves better. Ready Player One was released in March, and it was directed by Steven Spielberg, and it did very well. It did both very well at the box office and did very well by audiences and critics alike. And I think it's another great Steven Spielberg classic. Creed 2 is the sequel to 2015's Creed. Due to the success of Creed, how it was very well received by audiences and critics, and it did well at the box office. Of course, they had to do a sequel, but I went to see it, and even though it wasn't as good as the first Creed, it's still a good sequel and a good movie overall. Ralph Breaks the Internet is the sequel to 2012's Wreck-It Ralph. Sorry. And it came the same day Creed 2 did. And like Creed, it's a good sequel, but not as good as the original. But it's still a good movie. Ralph Breaks the Internet is still a good movie, even without the antagonist in it. Deadpool 2 is the sequel to 2016's Deadpool. So, this came a week before Solo: A Star Wars Story, which I think is one of the reasons why Solo bombed. But that doesn't matter right now. Deadpool 2 was a movie that showed that that has all the elements that the original Deadpool had. I pretty much like everything about this film, except how they keep changing like the different types of genres. First, they're like, it's a time travel movie, it's an X-Men movie, it's all that other stuff. But it's a good movie. Black Panther was the first Marvel movie to be released in 2018, before Avengers: Infinity War, and it was very well received by audiences and critics alike. And I think it's great. I pretty much liked everything about this film without any problems, except for some things I probably would change in the film. But it's a good movie. It's a good Marvel movie. It was definitely a great way to start 2018. I cannot say that there's anything wrong with Halloween. Halloween was fantastic. It felt like the horror movie of the year. It was better than all the other sequels of Halloween. This felt like a true sequel to the original Halloween that came in 1978. But there's only one problem with it. It's way too short. It should have been a little longer, but there really isn't any problems with it. This was a great Halloween sequel, and it felt like the horror movie of the year. Before we announce the top 5 winners for movies of 2018, here are some honorable mentions.